Let's book the next 12 months of Carmelo Hayes' WWE career. This story starts at NXT Stand and Deliver, as Carmelo Hayes battles his longtime friend and bitter rival, Trick Williams. As the match begins, it becomes clear that Trick and Melo are not here for a wrestling match, they are here for a fight. The two NXT stars go at it in an intense and personal match. Trick lands a trick knee and a slam dunk, but Melo manages to kick out. Trick returns a kick out after Melo lands nothing but net. Trick attempts to punish Melo even further, but Melo dodges out of the way and Trick wipes out the referee. Trick lands a trick knee on Melo, but before he goes for the cover, he gets distracted as he notices MVP appears on the stage. Trick stands puzzled, looking at the stage, as Booker T loses his mind on commentary. Trick turns around and is blasted by the Nigerian giant, Omos. Omos picks Melo up before Melo drops another nothing but net. The referee regains consciousness and counts to 3 as Melo defeats Trick. The following week on NXT, Trick Williams is in the ring, and he's addressing what happened at Stand and Deliver. Trick is furious and demands a fight tonight, and he doesn't care if it's Melo, MVP or Omos, he just wants a fight. MVP shows up on the stage and announces that Melo has acquired MVP's managerial services. He also announces that Melo has moved on from NXT to the big leagues, and if fans want to watch him, they better tune in on Monday nights. Before MVP can finish his promo, William Regal heads to the stage. The newly appointed NXT general manager says that, well, you heard Trick, he wants a fight. Regal turns to MVP and says it looks like you answered his challenge. Thank you for making my job easier. Tonight, it will be Trick Williams versus MVP. MVP is furious, but he's going to have to find his wrestling gear. Later in the night, the main event arrives, and it's Trick and MVP one-on-one. But before the match starts, MVP suspiciously starts to show signs of injury. He takes the coward's way out, but not before securing Omos to take his place. Trick doesn't care, he just wants a fight. Trick and Omos battle, with the fight spilling out to ringside. Trick doesn't let Omos' size faze him, as he fights Omos like he's 200 pounds lighter. Trick manages to break Omos down, but MVP heads back out to ringside, with his injury magically healed. Trick lands a trick knee to Omos, knocking him back. He goes for the cover and he's about to win, but MVP makes the ref aware of a rope break. Trick starts to build some momentum once again, trading punches with Omos, but he is blindsided by Carmelo Hayes, forcing the referee to call for a disqualification, as the show goes off the air. The following week, MVP, Omos and Carmelo Hayes would appear on Monday Night Raw. MVP would announce to the world that it's been too long since he was in business, and that he has finally found the right business partner in Carmelo Hayes. MVP states that the Hurt Business is back, and they are about to run the show once again. Later in the night, Adam Pearce announces that Carmelo Hayes will make his Raw debut, as he takes on Alpha Academy's Chad Gable. Things go well for Melo in the match, he almost has it won, but during the match, Trick Williams' music would begin to play, which would distract Melo long enough to allow Chad Gable to land a surprise suplex to win the match. The following week on Raw, Adam Pearce would take to the microphone to state that he does not want NXT stars invading his show. Therefore, he has agreed with NXT General Manager William Regal to allow Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams battle in a steel cage match at the upcoming Backlash PLE. The match would be set and Trick and Melo would battle a final time at Backlash. With a steel cage surrounding the ring, Trick was free from interference from Omos or MVP. The match would be a brutal fight, but in the end, Trick would defeat Carmelo to get his win back, and to end the feud between the two, for the time being at least. Following Backlash, Trick would remain on NXT to challenge for the NXT title, and Carmelo would stay put on the Raw brand, as his role in the new Hurt Business begins to take shape. As the summer rolls around, Bobby Lashley will be separated from the Street Profits, as he would be drafted to Monday Night Raw. On his first appearance on the Red brand, Lashley would bump into MVP backstage. MVP would invite Lashley to rejoin the Hurt Business once again, which Lashley would refuse. Later in the night, Lashley would take on Ivar in an Intercontinental Championship #1 Contenders tournament. He would find it tough to put Ivar down, but he thinks a spear will just about get the job done. He goes for the spear, but Ivar reverses, shoving Lashley into the referee. Ivar grabs a steel chair as he tries to make advantage of the incapacitated ref, but before he could, Carmelo Hayes would appear from nowhere and would blast Ivar with a chair. Lashley would witness the chair shot and would look confused and angry about the interference. He would have to proceed with the match as he rolls Ivar back into the ring before landing a spear to win. The following week, Lashley would confront MVP backstage and would say he doesn't need any help from the Hurt Business, and warns them to stay out of his business. Later in the night, Lashley would take part in the next round of the 8-man tournament with just 2 wins needed to become #1 contender. Lashley takes on Ricochet in his next match. As the match goes on, Ricochet's speed would work in his favour. He would have the chance to land a top rope manoeuvre, but before he could, MVP would appear at ringside, distracting the referee. With the ref distracted, Omos would push Ricochet off the top rope to the mat. Lashley would proceed to hit Ricochet with a spear for the win. The next week would arrive and Lashley takes on Sami Zayn in the final of the tournament. Lashley enters first and Sami Zayn follows, but before he can reach the ring, Carmelo Hayes attacks Zayn from behind, ambushing him with a brutal assault to Sami's leg. Sami would continue the match, but the damage would be done, allowing Lashley to hit a spear for the win. After the match, there would be no time for celebrating, as Lashley would be questioned by Adam Pearce if he was a part of the Hurt Business once again. Lashley would furiously shoot down the claims and swears that there is a spear ready for each member of the Hurt Business. At SummerSlam, Bobby Lashley would challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Lashley would enter first before the ring general. The two powerhouses would clash in an epic SummerSlam encounter. During the match, Carmelo Hayes would appear on the apron, but Gunther would knock him down. With the champion distracted, Lashley would destroy Gunther with a rib-breaking spear, before landing a Dominator and another spear to win the match and the title. After the match, Lashley would shake hands with MVP and celebrate with Melo and Omos. The Hurt Business is back in business. With the Hurt Business reunited, they would spend the remainder of the summer dominating on the Raw brand. Carmelo would continue to pick up singles wins, and Lashley would continue to feud with Gunther well into Survivor Series season. To allow the Hurt Business and Imperium to fight in a controlled environment, Adam Pearce would announce that at War Games, Imperium's Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci would battle Bobby Lashley, Omos and Carmelo Hayes in a War Games match. Survivor Series would arrive and Carmelo would put on a standout performance by winning the War Games match for his team. The next night on Raw, MVP would notice how Carmelo carried the team at Survivor Series and would publicly acknowledge him as the reason for their success. This would irritate Bobby Lashley, who feels like he deserves the praise, considering he was the team captain. MVP would tell Bobby he meant no offence, he just felt that without Carmelo's performance, they probably would have lost. Lashley would disagree and would tell Carmelo that he needs to realise his place in the business. Despite the internal disputes, the Hurt Business still looks strong, with the IC title around Bobby Lashley's waist as we head into 2025. After debuting on the main roster at the Royal Rumble, Trick Williams would appear on the following episode of Raw. Trick would announce his mission to become Intercontinental Champion, which is the title he always dreamed of winning. He sets his sights on Bobby Lashley, but knows he has to earn his opportunity. As the road to WrestleMania begins, Adam Pearce would announce a 20-man battle royal to determine the #1 contender for the IC title. Trick would enter the match, but so would Carmelo Hayes, which Bobby Lashley was not informed about. Melo and Trick would make it to the final two, and in shades of the 2005 Royal Rumble, Trick and Melo would eliminate one another at the same time, with both men's feet touching the floor at ringside simultaneously. With an uncertain winner, Adam Pearce would announce that Trick and Melo will go one-on-one at Elimination Chamber, with the winner becoming the new #1 contender. Elimination Chamber would arrive, and Trick and Melo would clash once again at PLE. Before the match starts, Lashley would demand that Melo lies down in the match, as he does not want to face a Hurt Business member at WrestleMania. He wants Melo to give Trick the win because he knows he can beat him easily. MVP and Melo would not be happy about the request from Lashley, but they head out to the ring regardless. Lashley is furious backstage as Melo doesn't follow his orders. Before the match reaches its conclusion, Lashley would burst into the ring, landing a spear on Trick. The match would end as a DQ through interference and awarding Trick with the win, but Lashley's not finished as he lands a Dominator on Melo. The next night on Raw, Adam Pearce would announce that what happened at the Elimination Chamber is not what's going to go down. He tells Lashley that he shot himself in the foot and that this WrestleMania match will not be Lashley versus Trick. It's instead going to be a triple threat match between Lashley, Trick and Carmelo Hayes for the Intercontinental Championship. In the weeks leading up to WrestleMania, Lashley would demand that MVP is in his corner at WrestleMania, and not Carmelo's. MVP would clearly struggle to take a side. As WrestleMania arrives, MVP would ultimately enter the arena with Lashley, albeit reluctantly. Trick would arrive next before Melo, as the two make their way to their first WrestleMania match. The match would be one of the best triple threats in recent history. Late in the match, Lashley would have Melo ready for a spear, but to the shock of Lashley and the fans, MVP would crack Lashley in the back with a baseball bat, allowing Melo to land nothing but net to win the match and the IC title. MVP has sided with Melo, Lashley is out and Melo is in. Carmelo caps off his first WrestleMania with a win, and with MVP and Omos by his side, he stands to be untouchable on the Raw brand. Despite removing Lashley from the group, it doesn't change the group's philosophy for hurt. There's been a changing of the guard in the business, but their mission remains the same: to inflict hurt to those who stand in front of them.